All we really know for sure is that Teresa is not in her own room.
Yeah, and that Julian's been missing for a while now.
Which amounts to zip, y'all. I mean, Teresa's never had any love lost for Julian Crane. What would she be doing in his room?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking.
Then where is she?
She could be anywhere. Maybe she took a walk on the beach.
In this weather, yeah.
Or she went to a restaurant to get a bite to eat. Wherever she is, she's not with Julian.
Or maybe everyone's refusing to see what's right in front of their eyes. As soon as Teresa thought Ethan was a lost cause, she just latched onto Julian.
Just a little tramp.
Hey, Rebecca, shut the hell up, all right? Teresa would never be with Julian.
Ethan, I know my sister. And she wouldn't give Julian the time of day, much less go to his room with him.
Yeah, of course not. I mean, it's one thing that she came down here to talk to Julian about me in a public place, but she never put herself in a vulnerable position with him.
I got to admit that when I first heard that Julian was down here fooling around with some young girl, Teresa popped into my mind.
She did?
But not because I thought for a second that the girl was my sister. It's just that it hit so close to home that some young girl was in over her head with Julian. Sheridan kept telling me that she... Where is she, Ethan?
I wish I knew what to tell you.
I don't give a damn what the short patrol says. I know that she's not gone.
There's nothing we can do for Sheridan, but we can certainly take care of Teresa.
Rebecca, what are you talking about?
My mother still thinks that Teresa's with Julian.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet my engagement ring on it. Look, how can you just stand there doing nothing when you know what she did? Has she no shame at all?
Ethan, listen, you know how I feel about you.
Gwen, look, don't. You know I love Teresa.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. How can you love somebody who cheats on you the second she thinks you're dead? And with somebody that you grew up thinking was your father, no less.
I don't believe that for a second.
Why? It makes perfect sense. Her little scheme to have Julian reinstate you as heir fizzled out, so she came down here to grab his millions. And she ended up in Julian's bed.
Look, stop it, all right? Look, I know Teresa better than you and your mother. She would never sleep with Julian. Never.
You know, maybe that's how you people act in your money means everything world. But it's not that way with Teresa. Even Julian is smart enough to know that if he ever laid a finger on my sister, I would tear him apart.
No. Even if he did raise me, you'd have to get in line.
Well, all fine and noble sentiments, I'm sure. But what if I'm right, huh? What if Julian has been, oh, how do I put this delicately, cuddling with Teresa in his room? What then, Ethan? You gonna still want to defend her virtue so strongly? Are you still gonna want to make her your wife?
I won't dignify your question with an answer, Rebecca. You just let yourself get carried away because we don't know where Teresa is.
Or Julian.
She's not with him, Rebecca. No, I'm not going to stand here and deny that Teresa hasn't done some foolish things in her life. But there is one thing that I know for certain. She loves Ethan. And she would die before she was ever unfaithful with anyone. Especially her slimeball fiancé.
Oh, thank you very much, Luis.
Hey, don't mention it. I've got a few more choice names for Julian Crane if you're interested.
I don't really care what you think about Julian. But he's the man I'm going to marry. So I am not going to just stand here and let him take all the blame for what is going on in his room. No, if Teresa is in there with him, it's because she initiated the involvement.
Okay, now, I don't even buy that. We all know what a lech Julian is. But, hey, I do agree that if she's in there, they're only doing one thing.
Okay, look, that's enough. I think Teresa would never let Julian touch her with a 10-foot pole. Unless she was heavily drugged and didn't even know what was going on.
Whitney, why ain't you defending Teresa?
Chad, please. I mean, everybody knows it's ridiculous.
You know something? Don't you? Look, just tell me, all right? Ethan's going crazy, not knowing what's going on.
Trust me, Chad. Ethan's gonna know soon enough.
Look, Whitney, do you have any idea where Teresa is? I mean, I know she confides in you about everything.
Ethan, what I do know is that Teresa was completely heartbroken when she thought that you were lost at sea with Luis and Chad.
You know what? That's it. Dude, she don't know that we made it back to shore. She's probably up in the chapel right now praying for our rescue. You know what? Let me go check it out. I'll be right back.
Hey, excuse me. Do you know if Mr. Crane is up in his room?
Yes, I just saw him there. But he asked not to be disturbed.
Well, then I guess he's asleep, right?
I don't think so. He had company.
Was it a girl?
Yes, a pretty young woman with long dark hair.
Uh-huh. Now do you all believe me? I knew it. I knew Teresa is with Julian. She knows he has a weakness for young girls, and she knew how vulnerable he would be after his divorce from Ivy. Look, I'm not exactly letting him off the hook either, but if she is up there in his room, then she is every bit as complicit in this as he is.
Rebecca, you don't know what you're talking about.
Look, if Teresa was up in Julian's room, which I'm sure she's not, he would have had to have drugged her or something, because there's no way in her right mind she would ever have gone up there.
I guess I'm just gonna have to prove it to them, Luis.
Can't do that. I'm gonna go see whether this guy's got a boat ready to rescue Sheridan.
Yes, hotel operator. Please connect me to Julian Crane's room. There's no answer.
Well, that's not surprising, considering he's up there doing God knows what with her.
Better not be. The last thing he ever does.
I'll get a gun. We'll kill them both.
Hey, hold on a minute. Now, I can't believe I'm letting you two get to me this way. There's no way Julian and Teresa are together. Isn't that right, Whitney?
Well, I know it's the last place you'd want to be.
Yeah, exactly. So what'd he say?
He claims they're organizing a search and rescue mission right now. I want him to cover a wider area than he thinks possible. Sheridan could have grabbed onto a life preserver or a piece of driftwood or something.
The current is so strong, she could have been carried out from miles.
And that's why I want to go with him, because I'm not letting him give up until I find her. You think I'm crazy, don't you?
Look, Luis, I want Sheridan to be alive just as much as you do. But I just don't know how she could have survived the hurricane, let alone the explosion.
I'm not giving up until I find her.
So, was Teresa in the chapel?
Afraid not. I checked out the whole resort while I was at it. Nobody's seen her in any of the public rooms.
Well, then it's probably like Luis said. She's out on the beach.
Or maybe I'm right, and she is with Julian in his room. Look, something is going on between those two, and if you won't find out what it is, I will.
All right. If this is gonna shut you up, fine. I'll go up to Julian's room and we'll see who he's with. But I know it's not Teresa.
Yeah, count me into it if it'll shut her up. I never thought I'd meet anyone who deserved Julian, but you definitely do.
Okay, I think you guys need to be prepared for what you might find up there.
I'm not gonna find Teresa.
Look, Gwen is just trying to spare you an unpleasant shock. And the only two people I'm hoping to catch off guard are Julian and his little tartita.
Rebecca, that's enough.
What? Okay, fine. You just be as self-righteous and indignant as you want now. But I'm afraid I'm going to be the one that has the last word here.
Yeah.
So are we gonna go to his room or not?
How are you ever going to find it in your heart to forgive her if you find her up there?
You know, this is a big waste of time. All we're gonna find is Julian drunk in bed.
Some other poor girl who's not my sister.
I think you're both just afraid that you're going to find Teresa up there, and you don't want to admit it to my mother and me or to yourselves.
We're going to have to admit it when you find them there together, and then all hell is going to break loose.
And Teresa's goose is finally going to be cooked.